Our next guests come from an iconic family. They're the daughter and granddaughter of former South African President Nelson Mandela.
And today they join us with the latest update on Madiba, as well as we'll toast to their new wine company, House of Mandela. All right, Maki and Tukwini Mandela, thank you to the show.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
great
so
to be
much.
Here.
So before we start, we have to ask you, how is Nelson Mandela doing?
He is a very sick man. He's 95. He's still in hospital, although he's at home. But basically, he's in an ICU ward at home.
He's in an ICU ward at home.
Yeah.
Well, now you grew up with him. How was it growing up with an iconic father?
I wouldn't say I grew up with him. I was young when between 6 and 7 when he went into hiding. And for 27 years of his life, he was locked up in prison. And I didn't see him until I turned 16 and had to carry what is called a Dom pass in South Africa, which all black people had to carry to identify themselves when police wanted. So until you had that, you couldn't visit where he was in Robben Island.
So you didn't see your father. The last time you saw him, you were 6 or 7, you said.
Yes.
And you didn't see him until you were 60?
Yeah, 16.
16, okay.
Yes.
16, sorry about that. Okay, so what was it like when you saw him again for the first time?
It was very exciting, exhilarating, but the first time I saw him, basically it was through a glass window and talking over telephones, or what you would call intercoms on both sides. And we kissed the glass window, basically.
You kissed the glass window?
Yes.
My goodness.
Now, Tukwini, for you, what was it like when you first met him, and how old were you?
I think I was about 8. And the first time I went with my cousins to go and see him. By that time, they had done away with the age restriction because you could only see him when I think you were like 14 or something like
16.
that. 16. So I was quite lucky in the sense that by that time they had done away with the age restriction. But as my mother said, you touched hands through the glass and you kissed through the glass, and so it was surreal.
Surreal, definitely.
Did you realize how iconic he was growing up, and what were you told about him?
No, I didn't have any idea at that time.
Yeah, your grandfather's Nelson Mandela.
Yeah, I didn't have any idea at that time. But I mean, when my brother went to see him, he said to him, "Grandpa, I'm going to come here and I'm going to kick down this window and I'm going to take you out of here." So, you can just imagine in the mind of a 6-year-old, or 8-year-old, what that's like, to see their grandparent behind bars. It's not, you don't have any concept of it at that age.
So we know the freedom fighter, the iconic figure who changed history, but what's he like as a person?
He's very warm, but also because he's been locked up for 27 years, he also has an aloofness around him, where he's awkward in terms of relationships, basically, especially, I think with his children. He's a little bit better with the grandchildren, but he's still very awkward when it comes to personal relationships. He needs always his space.
Do either of you remember one thing or the most important thing he's ever taught you?
Well, I mean, it's a number of things, but I think one of the greatest things that my grandfather has always taught us as grandchildren is self-determination. You can be anything that you want to be, provided that you're prepared to work hard and be focused, because, he's one of the most focused human beings I've ever met. My grandfather doesn't allow anything to deter him. When he's decided to do something, that's what he's going to do and that's what he's going to accomplish. So that's been, our lesson as grandchildren.
There are 2 films out this year about your grandfather. One stars Idris Elba, the other one stars Terrence Howard. What do you make of those films?
Honestly, I haven't seen the films.
Okay.
I'm sure they're great. I mean, Idris Elba is a great actor.
He sure is.
But I mean, it's like I said, it's surreal because this is stuff that we know as a family personally. And I think it's even more poignant for my mother. So I hope the films do well.
They're talking Oscar nominations for Idris Elba already, so that's a good sign.
Well, he's a great actor, so
he is.
Well, one of the things that definitely come up in the movies is race relations in South Africa. What is the state of race relations currently?
I think the race relations in South Africa has drastically improved. Yes, I mean, we come from a 350-year history of racial segregation and a very oppressive and very violent society. But in terms of racial relations, I think we've made great strides. South Africa has a lot of challenges that we face, which are not so much about race relations. What has happened in South Africa is race as a defining has sort of receded, and class has sort of taken over
to the forefront. Yes.
And so that's the challenges that we are facing. But as I say, we have serious challenges in terms of poverty, in terms of addressing really the backlogs of apartheid in South Africa. We still have huge challenges. But on the race relations front, we've also made a lot of strides ahead.
Things have gotten better.
Yes.
And they've definitely gotten better for businesses as well. And when we come back, we're going to be getting the fruits of your labor, if you will. We'll be tasting what your wine tastes like, House of Mandela.
Yes.
All right, we'll be right back.
Thank you.
Music is important to me. It's the first thing I ever fell in love with. It is a universal language. It is the voice of the things that sometimes we're afraid to say inside. I think music is just a beautiful gift that's been given to us. And I'm just very fortunate that I can live and love to do it every single day of my life. Hey, what's up? I'm Melanie Fiona, and you're watching Arise Entertainment 360.
Ever since I became an athlete, I have been very passionate about being the best that I can be, and that starts from within. Feeding yourself the right foods, spirituality, all of that. So that's why I wake up in the morning, to be the best mom that I can be and to be inspired to get better at just living this life, being a human being on this earth. Hi, I'm Layla Ali, and you're watching Arise TV.
Comedy is important because laughter is good for the soul. Laughter keeps you young. Laughter makes everyone happy. So guess what? Keep on laughing, everybody. This is Kim Whitley, and you're watching Arise Entertainment 360.
My favorite part of my job is that I get to do something new every day. I invent and make up new things all the time, and I never stop learning. To me, Arise means a new day, a new life, a new chance, a new opportunity, a new beginning. I'm Roble, and you're watching Arise TV.
Music is important to me because it's an outlet. Different way to create, different way to express yourself, different way to stay out of trouble. For me, it was very important to just always be expressive, always keep my mind busy and functioning and just thinking of new creative ideas. And that's still prevalent to me to this day. You take music off the world, you can take me with it. I say that all the time. So music is my passion and my love. As long as you're passionate about something, then I'm sure you understand what I'm saying. Hi, my name is Joe Budden, and you're watching Arise Entertainment 360.
We're back now with the daughter and granddaughter of Nelson Mandela and their wonderful wines, House of Mandela.
House of Mandela. So how did this wine company come to be, ladies?
Well, my son actually introduced the idea to us of getting into the wine business. And we didn't know a lot about wine at that time because we drank wine socially on weddings or parties. You know, we couldn't call ourselves wine connoisseurs. South Africa is a brown spirits drinking country, which means lots of beer is consumed, whiskey is consumed, especially amongst the Africans, and not so much of wine. But we did a lot of research, and we then hired a master of wine in the name of Lynn Sheriff, who actually helped us to educate us and was instrumental because we gave him really criteria of the type of partners we would have in the wine industry.
Oh, really?
Because we don't own a wine farm. We are what we are called wine negotiants. So we buy wine and then we blend our own wine.
So what do you look for in particular?
We looked for family-owned wineries.
Family-owned wineries.
Yes.
Okay.
Because we are family who get into this business. We looked for wine farms that had good labor practices.
Yes.
They treated their employees with dignity. They didn't pay them with treasures of wine. And also they respected the biodiversity of South Africa and were into sustainability and the fair trade, because that's what we actually wanted to promote. And so out of 33 wineries, we selected 3 that we worked with first to produce the Royal Reserve.
Which is that one.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we should try some wine, don't you?
Well, has Nelson Mandela tried any of these wines, and what does he think?
My dad only drinks sweet wine. You know, he likes, when he used to drink, he would drink what we call dessert wine.
Dessert wine.
Yeah, which is
like
really sweet wine.
port, sherry, etc.
What we call dessert, like sweet wine. It's called sweet. It's called dessert wine.
Okay.
Basically,
Dessert
yes.
wine.
So what types of wine did you bring for us today?
So we brought both the Royal Reserve and the Tembo collection.
Okay.
So the Royal Reserve, which is these wines here, were the ones that we produce first, and they are super premium range of wines. And we produce 3 in this range. So we have, today we'll be tasting the Cabernet Sauvignon, that one over there.
Okay.
And we also have the Tembo collection. And the Tembo collection is our more affordable range of wines, and you'll see that they have interesting labels in the front.
Beautiful labels.
And those were inspired by what you call Madiba shirts. Because Madiba shirts.
Madiba shirts.
Yes, the shirts that my grandfather wore. Because he didn't like suits. He felt constricted in a suit. He wanted something that was going to make him more accessible as a leader. So the characteristics of the wines actually reflect that, because they're easy, everyday drinking wines. So we'll be tasting the Sauvignon Blanc today, and then we'll be tasting the Cabernet. But let's start with the whites.
Okay.
Start with the white wine. Now, I don't drink, but I'm going to smell it. See what we get.
So
you're going to smell?
First, you can sort of like...
it actually smells really good.
Swirl it around just a little bit.
Okay. Now, in the States, we say cheers.
Yes.
What do you say in South Africa?
Do we have cheers in Costa?
No, we don't have
We say cheers.
You say cheers as well?
All right, well, cheers then.
Yep.
Cheers.
And then you can just smell.
It smells really smooth, if you will. And how does it taste?
Oh, this is nice.
Taste. So it's very nice, crisp and light.
Yeah, it's very refreshing.
Yeah, it's an everyday drinking wine. It's a Sauvignon Blanc from the Tembo collection.
Yeah, nice with fish.
Yes.
You were speaking about your labels earlier. I noticed this one has a bumblebee on it with like roots growing.
So it's not a bumblebee. It's a bee. It's a honeybee. Our family's totem symbol is the bee. When my grandfather was released from prison and he was going back to his traditional home, he was followed by a swarm of bees all the way from the airport to the house.
You were kidding.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
And basically his name, the Xhosa name, Kgolihlahla, means one who's brave enough to get honey from a beehive.
Yeah.
But colloquially interpreted, one who's brave enough to challenge the status quo.
Wow. How do you pronounce that again?
Kgolihlahla.
Kgolihlahla.
Wow.
Kgolihlahla.
Kgolihlahla.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll let Lolo handle that one.
I've got to do that before I have this glass, because I may not be able to say anything after that.
Now, this is the red wine. What's this one called again?
This is the Cabernet Sauvignon from the Royal Reserve range.
Okay.
This is our super premium range of wines. And this was produced by Hartenberg, and Hartenberg is known for producing very good super premium red wines. Okay.
How does this one? It smells really...
Yeah.
Very good. And it smells a little sweet, but you said it's not sweet at all, huh?
No, the super premium range of wines are a little bit more complex. So if you like something, that you can share on a special occasions that you can share with family and friends, this would probably be it.
This has more of an oak taste.
Oh, okay.
So you would probably drink this with maybe beef, something.
Yeah, and this has
a nice South African
and the
steak.
Super premium, they've stayed in the oak for a bit longer. This was in oak for about 10 to 12 months, I think.
So what do you think is one thing that's going to set your wines apart from all the others on the market?
I think because it's a uniquely South African varietal, and South Africa has a long history of producing wines, 350 years of producing wines, and good quality wines, and I think that is the thing that will set it out in the market. But I think our packaging also is very, very strong. The issue is that what you see outside actually compares equally what is inside.
the bottle.
Yes, so it's all about quality, and actually also represents the beauty, the warmth, and the resilience of the African people.
Now, you've compared the growth of your family to the growing of a wine grape. Explain.
Well, wine itself, the way it grows, doesn't grow in a straight line. It curves and twists. And when you look really at the business of cultivating wine, wine is about traditional. It's about values that you have as a family. It's about resilience. When you look at our family, as my father has so much emphasized, he was shaped by the traditions, by the values, by the customs of his ancestors. And so with wine, when you cultivate the wine, you really give it your all. You have to put love in it. You have to follow the traditions that have been there in terms of cultivating that vintage. And it's up to the gods, really, to nature, whether you'll get a good produce this year or not. And even if you don't this year, you still have to nurture your vineyards the next year. You don't give up. It's like a family.
Yeah.
Whether your child, does well or misbehaves today, you don't give up on the child. You still nurture the child, love the child. So that's where the synergies are. And we are the people of the soil. As Mandelas, we come from an agricultural background. We are peasant in nature. And so there was a lot of synergy between wine itself and our family.
That's a wonderful analogy. I love that.
Beautiful.
Now, Maki and Tukwini, where can we purchase the wines?
On Friday, we were at, we visited the Bed-Stuy Corporation.
Oh, yeah.
And we had a great time there. And then we also visited the Bed Vine Shop. So you can go and purchase the wines there.
Okay.
We had a great event there.
That's in Brooklyn.
Yes, in Brooklyn. We had a great event there, and we have very goodwill towards the wines. So that's one of the places where you can actually go and purchase the wines.
Okay, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
And our importer here in the U.S. is the Heritage Link Brands, who imports our wine into the States. And I think they are a very good contact for us.
And you can actually go into the Heritage Link Brands website and go to the shopping icon, and it will tell you where all the wines are sold across the U.S.
And houseofmandela.com as well, right?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you both so much.
Thank you so much, and thank you for the lovely bottles of wine.
Thank you very much. Thank
And
you.
we'll say cheers one more time, right? Congratulations and cheers.
Cheers. Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Thank
You're
you.
watching Arise Entertainment 360.